From fabulous Los Angeles, California, Hollywood, home of the stars, the magic factory where dreams come true, culture capital of the world, jewel of the Pacific, it's the Adam Carolla Show.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get it on. Mandate. Get it on. And welcome to the program. Thanks so much for listening. And thank you so much for telling a friend. You know, I travel around the highways and hold on, byways.
Both? Did not see that coming.
I will do the occasional highway or byway, even though it's neither here nor there. I travel the highways and byways of this great land.
This great land?
Of this great land.
This one.
Yes, extending a friendly hand shake and a how do you do. I also greet and meet. I don't meet and greet.
Ooh.
I do the greet and then I meet the person.
Do you walk the walk or talk the talk or both?
I do both, but
Wow.
I back it up with words from my seconds and attorneys. But I don't do the meet and greet. I greet first and then I meet.
Let's examine this unorthodox behavior.
And I spell meet differently.
Oh my God.
Yes. So I travel this great land of ours. I reach out to you, the people, the fans. And it is really nice. Fathers and sons come in. It's all demographic. I mean, all white, but all the white,
age
all the
ranges.
white shades of the rainbow. All
From
ranging
Ecru to Birdshell?
Mustang white to Navajo white, but all the
Some
variations,
eggshell.
all the variations of let's say you put Tom Petty over here. And then just put
Kid Rock?
Lori Petty.
Yeah, a little lighter than more Lori Petty. Yeah, a little lighter than Kid Rock over there. And everything in between.
Wow.
Everything in between, color-wise.
Quite a reach.
That's a reach out. But no, it is. I never know what to tell my one black fan who announces I'm your one black fan because
it's like we got a one black fan in every port.
That's right. That's right. I guess you don't tell your one lady friend in every port either. She's the only black fan as well. So I reach out to everyone. I sign the books and the bottles of Mangria and so on and so forth. And they do this thing, which again, everything wants to make me kick my dad in the nuts. Like, squirrel farts, and I want to kick my dad in the nuts. But the thing where the father-son comes in and the mother-daughters come in. They're like, the mother was a fan, got the kid going on the show, or the kid was a fan and got Pops going on the show, and then they both come in to get their book signed. It's just amazing. So the way we grow is you tell a friend. You tell a coworker.
You have kids.
You have kids. You shit out. Kid. I mean, you lovingly. You have some kids, you tell them, or you have some parents, you tell them, or you have some coworkers, or, cellmates, whatever. Tell them. And keep the pirate ship afloat. Thank you so much. All right, a couple things, interesting observations. Had a business meeting at the Roosevelt Hotel today, right across from Kimmel's place in beautiful Hollywood there, right in the heart of everything there, Hollywood.
You and Matt were discussing yesterday you're having a lunch at a great burger place.
Right, which was filled, so we ended up going to a restaurant. But it was funny. I was talking to Lynch. And I called Lynch as I was like pulling through, and I checked the temp on my car, and it said exterior temp 75 degrees. And I said, well, Mike, I know you just did a little caseload with a toothless guy who had a load in his underpants, but and I hate to rub it in, but it's sunny, it's 75, there's Kimmel's Theater, and I'm just valeting my Jag at the Roosevelt. Going to go in and meet with August and have a business meeting.
So you're checking in to make sure Lynch's move went well?
Yeah, right.
He's not regretting it?
I said, I hate to rub it in, buddy. And then as I was getting out of the car, I saw a guy who looked like one of the scariest rappers you've ever seen, although you've never recognized him. He was standing in front of, just sort of standing there like almost just advertising himself. It didn't seem like he was picking up a car. He was just standing
Promoting.
there. He was wearing a black hat with block lettering. It wasn't handwritten. It wasn't written. And there was nothing, just as big a block lettering as you could get on the front of a foam hat.
CB4.
And he said, it said in large white letters on a black hat, "Fuck humble." And I said, well, Mike, I guess we're even. Now I wish I was in Lowell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to finish this off with I'm going to go and enjoy a steak for free, but then I saw the fuck humble for the guy standing there.
What I'm stuck on is how could fuck humble be on the front of a hat, or did you have to like kind of wrap around to read it?
It was, the letters, it was a good size, that kind of foam kind of ball cap that what's his name would wear on 30 Rock. The comedian.
Tracy Jordan? Oh, no, Judah Freelander.
Judah Freelander, that kind of
Okay.
thing. And the letters were, inch and a quarter, inch and a half high, and fuck on top, humble on bottom. About as big a letter as you could get onto the front of that hat, but could easily be read from 75 feet away. Like it was white on a black on more black, but you could read it from not outer space, but if you were on the balcony of a 5-story building, you could look down and see fuck humble. And I just thought, A, I hate this guy. B,
Does he even have anything to be not humble about?
I have no idea, but if I had my kids with me, I would not be happy.
I was hoping for a twist where he was like, Adam, I'm your one black fan. That'd be awesome.
So there was that. The other thing that went down is it came time to order the soup at the restaurant. And it was a squash. It's like a squash, butternut squash.
Okay.
Versus tomato soup. And I had this realization. Everyone ordered the butternut squash except for one maniac who ordered the tomato soup. And the waitress said, I recommend the tomato soup. I like that the best. And I said, I don't like tomato soup. Perhaps Campbell's ruined it for me, but I don't like the syrupy, corn syrupy, just red. Tastes like ketchup that's been sweetened and heated.
Yeah.
The Campbell's version always sucked, and that's the only choice I had when I was a kid.
You got to branch out, man.
And to me, listen, if we're out of beef, barley, and out of the vegetable with the chunky pieces of chicken and noodle and all that kind of, and all the chowders, everything under the chowder umbrella, then I'll go with that. But nah, I'm not much for the tomato. And then somebody did this, and I realized, as I say about the reggae music, when people start factoring in other factors where I go, I don't much care for reggae, and they go, really? When you're standing in the Caribbean and you're holding a hollowed out coconut that's filled with rummy goodness and you're getting your cock sucked by the Doublemint twins and the Orbits girl, really? You don't like reggae then? And I go, yep, I'd like, listen, I'd like Man-Eater at that fucking point. But you have to just...
You're like first Orbits girl or the second Orbits girl?
Second or both. Right. But you have to level the playing field and just go, would you want to sit in traffic and listen to reggae? And the answer is always no for me. So I realize tomato soup is the reggae of soup.
It's situational.
Everyone's like, on a rainy day, like when you would be home
with a grilled
sick
cheese
from
sandwich.
school.
Did that ever
and your mom
happen
made you...
to any one of us?
No, but everyone does. It's a situational soup.
Yeah.
As you say, no one ever does that with navy bean or chowder or beef barley. No one ever goes, it's a rainy day. You're loving, when she was alive, your mother in your favorite bowl. It's like, no, why are we putting all these conditions on soup? It's just compare the fucking soup. The question is this. Do you want tomato soup or do you want beef barley? I want the beef barley. Do you want the tomato soup
Yeah,
or
if you have
do you
to
want
ask
onion
what the
soup?
weather is, then you don't like the soup.
What, is it raining outside? Yes, and it's weird because it's the opposite of the reggae. Reggae is sun shining, feet in the sand, and then this is it's rainy. It's a cold morning. It's a cold afternoon. You're home
I would
from
flip
school.
it and I would say try reggae on a rainy day or tomato soup on the beach.
Right. Now what do we got? Shit.
Bullshit. But really, when's the last time it rained and your taste changed?
I don't know. Like
I don't curl up in a big sweater with a mug.
Yeah. I don't like liver, but if it's raining outside or there's some rain coming down. I was trying to think of a word, which was
drizzly.
Drizzly, yeah.
There is rainy day food, though, right? Like warmer, more comfort food? I mean, some foods don't work on
I don't know.
When it's earthquake weather, I will enjoy a kumquat, but otherwise, no.
Sushi, probably not good rainy day weather, but either way. So that was that realization I had, that people build a case for tomato soup around the weather. All right. Also, more things to complain about. We had this thing where we had me and Mike and 3 other guys from a business, and we're having this sort of spirited discussion. Not not an angry discussion, just a spirited, here's what we do, here's what our company does, here's what we know, we're big fans of you, we want to, blah, 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 blah. And it was nice. We were in basically an empty restaurant, and then at a certain point, when the guy started really getting into a sales pitch and all the other acts and celebrities and people he'd worked with and so, the hostess went and took the lone guy and sat the lone guy in an almost empty restaurant, sat the lone guy next to us at the table that was 14 inches away and on the bench. Like, it was a long bench that the three of the guys were sitting on. And it was just like, do you have to take the loan? The guy had a suitcase. Like, I guess he just checked into the hotel or something. They just sat him there. And I don't have anything against the guy. It's just whatever. We're discussing business here, and then I'm going to get into the origins of some stuff and some specifics and some numbers and stuff like that. And the guy's just sitting there sort of almost looking at me, and he's got his phone out, and he's looking at text messages or something, but he has ears. He can't help but hear where I'm as far, Brian, from you as I am right now as he is from me. Why do you do that fucking thing where you take the one fucking guy who goes into a restaurant? There should be a booth, like a cone of silence for people who want to eat alone. Well, there's a place called the fucking counter. Send them at the counter. That's where the lonely guys go to eat.
Yeah.
Don't do the thing. It's
not like he's going to make friends with you.
It's a large restaurant. It's a large restaurant that is sparsely inhabited by us and maybe two or three other couples spread around.
And even if she's trying to put him in her station,
just
there's
move
still
him
other
2
tables.
seats. Move him 2 seats over. Don't just plop him down next to. There's 5 people having a business meeting where you're literally dropping celebrity names, talking about dollar amounts and downloads and blah, 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 and you take the one guy and you set him down right next to us. What the fuck? And then there's really nothing you can do.
No,
like
there's
you
no
can't
way to
get up
request
and
he
leave.
moves.
You find yourself sort of watching your words a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say Jimmy Kimmel and I anymore because I don't want him looking over and go, hey, is that the guy? And is he talking about? And then you're getting into numbers or whatever it is.
The guy who works in the building next door and I were out the other day.
Right. It's just a fucking pain in the ass. Why the fuck do you do that? We're clearly. She showed up at our table. She showed up 9 times to do this bullshit rip-off thing where she keeps dropping off the still water in the bottle that's not, that they're reusable bottle without asking us if we're paying or want another $8 bottle.
Yeah.
The greatest fucking scam of all time as it pertains to restaurant. I remind me to get into this.
The automatically refilling water.
For a second. Yeah, I want to talk to Tyler. I'm trying to think of Ballier.
Yes, you got it.
I got it. Tyler is the runner and organizer of the Boston Wine Riot, and our own Mike Lynch is going to be out there on Saturday. Huh? Yeah, his brother is going to be out there manning the Mangria booth on Friday, and Lynch will be there Saturday. So definitely go by there and say hi. How's it work there, Tyler?
It's pretty simple. You pay $60, and we give you a glass, and we unleash you on about 40 different wineries are there, pouring about 300 different wines.
Wow.
And you can just kind of run around and, like, try all wines from, like, every part of the world.
Run around? Because I'd be doing the part where I walk sideways, even though I thought I was going straight.
Veer.
Yeah. You ever get that drunk move where you start forward, but you end up just sort of going laterally?
Yes.
That's more of a diagonal sort of thing for me. Mm-hmm. And then I overcorrect and go the other way. It's like Pong. It's a lot like the game Pong. It's like a drunken Pong. And do you have vomitoriums, or do people kind of keep it mellow?
No, we can, like, I mean, people have fun, but, like, you know, we don't, it's not like we're pouring, like full glasses at every single spot. The idea is to kind of, like, sample and taste. So, like, you get, like, 1 ounce at each spot, you know, and it adds up. But, like, people keep it in check, and, you know, it's Boston. These people are professionals. They know what they're doing.
I'm kind of curious. It just popped into my head, but the wine is a nice, like, I make distinctions between things that alter you. You know, I don't want a neighbor who is into methamphetamine, but I do want. But if they're into red wine, that's good. That means they're mellow. And I'm trying to think of like the countries that consume red wine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet you if you did some sort of chart between non-troublemakers, basically folks that aren't threatening to blow us up with nuclear-tipped warheads or take Israel and bomb it into the Stone Age or whatever, or take down buildings. It's just basically, I have the world divided into just two parts, troublemaker and non-troublemaker. I'll bet you that there's a direct correlation between the consumption of red wine and the non-troublemaker.
France.
There you
They're
go.
talking about.
Yeah. When's the last time New Zealand started
Italy,
in trouble?
Argentina.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So wines from all over the world. Everyone is set up. Now, do you have other stuff? Is there anything like Mangria over there?
I mean, is there anything like it?
Well, I mean, could you get a shot of whiskey? Could you get a shot of rum? Or is it all just wine?
Unfortunately, the way the liquor licensings work, we
yeah.
got to stick to wine, and we can't have any spirits.
Right.
But we do have other things. We have food, and we have other things to do. We make these totally bitchin' fake tattoos and they're kind of modeled after normal tattoos.
Right.
And we want, people can get them put on, and so.
Wait.
Everyone...
Hold on. Steak.
Yeah, there's a lot to
Steak
unpack
tattoos.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make thousands of these fake tattoos. We have a naked mermaid drinking champagne and
Hold on a second.
Are you wearing a tattoo made of steak? What's going on?
Is he saying fake tattoo and it's sounding like steak tattoo, or is he saying steak tattoo?
We all heard steak.
I heard steak more than once. All
I'm
right.
thinking he brands you.
All right.
I think he lays steak on your arm.
Tyler,
yes,
these tattoos are made of beef.
it's the best kind of tattoo.
All right.
I think Wait, is it a piece of meat you put on your body?
I wish. No, they're fake. They're temporary.
Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
We all heard steak.
All right.
I wish it was steak.
I wish it was steak. Well, because he went right from food
Yeah.
to fake tattoo. Now, I don't know if that made us hear steak because we have this weird sort of autocorrect thing.
Oh, God, is that what's going on with our ears?
It can't be all three
Ear
of us.
autocorrect?
No.
No.
It can't be all three of us. But your mind will make sense. Your mind will make sense of things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
They heard
Tyler,
steak
we
in
all
the
heard
room.
steak tattoo. And I'm now going to copyright that. I want to own that domain name. Write that down. I'll either make a porn site or jerky site, or both out of it. Either way, it'll have the word jerky in it. All right, sorry. Lynch heard steak too. So, tattoo.
Lynch always hears steak.
Food. Right, Tyler. That's what I was talking about. So it's all sold out, right?
The one in Boston is, yeah. So we have, we're giving away tickets all week on our Facebook page and whatnot, but this one's sold out. But then, in a month we hit Chicago and then San Francisco. So it's a big tour.
I like I like it and I approve. And by the way, the website is secondglass.com. And again, thanks, Tyler. You can have Lynch, or if you want to see what Lynch's brother looks like.
I don't even think I know. I didn't even know that Lynch has a brother.
I've heard a few good stories about him.
Fish stories, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So go
He's in the
down,
band Fish.
say hi,
Exactly
say hi to the brother, and go check out the Mangria booth. They'll be serving the white and the red.
And get yourself a steak tattoo.
I think he said steak twice, by the way. All right. But here's the rule. The rule is this. When there is confusion, no matter how carefully I word the next sentence that will unconfuse it, it never works. Yes?
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, because we all knew what you were saying and understood the question you were asking, and
Right.
he seemingly
Right.
didn't.
All right. Now, tell me what I should do with Dr. Drew. I think Dr. Drew is going crazy. I really do. He's getting nuttier as the years wear on, and I'm getting better looking. First off, he was supposed to pick me up at, and you know this sin. He was supposed to pick me up on Monday to go do some radio at 8:25. He rang the buzzer at 8:13. Which that's a full 10 minutes, but that is a crucial 10. And
That's the time to wake up and take a shower.
for me,
Yeah.
who does not apply I mean, I'll put some foundation on, but I won't go full. I won't do my eyes.
Well, it's the morning.
Yeah, just wear the big.
Yeah, you want to do your day to evening look.
Right. And I literally will pull on the pants that I wore the day before, put the shoes on with no socks, pull the sweater on I pulled on
Pants.
before, and that's it. I give myself. It's a weird thing, and dig.
It's a lot of extra syllables.
A lot
in
of
there.
digging here. My background in boxing and in radio has me acutely aware of like what 3 minutes is and what 1 minute is and what a 5-minute commercial break is and like what can be done in literally 4 or 5 minutes. I've told people all the time, you don't think 3 minutes is a long time? Spar for 3 minutes with a tough guy. It'll feel like a long time. And also, when you hear, like, you'll hear a bell, like if you're working out, that'll go, 30 seconds left in the round. 30 seconds is a long time. You'd be surprised, like, what you can do. So, for me, and in radio, you kind of work that way, too. You figure out how long things are and what they really mean. And thus, I will, if someone's picking me up at 8:25, I will be in a towel or underpants at 8:13. But anyway, Drew picked me up, and then he drives like a fucking possessed maniac, which I love. And I drive like a navigator, and we're doing a rally. Just cut across here, get this signal, go ahead, slide into the right lane. We can slide back up. At a certain point, he looked at me, he said, this is so refreshing because everyone is always yelling at me to slow down, and you're yelling, speed up, make this signal, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. So we just drove like insane people. But tell me if I'm a colossal dick or not, okay? I hate it. No, I resent it. When people try to make me feel guilty, like when they guilt
seems
me,
normal so far.
I resent it. And I feel like it's a de facto mode for a lot of people. Like a lot of people go into their kids, for instance. And I've said many times, I have kids, and I never use them in a way that says, I need to spend time with my family and that kind of thing. Now, granted, I don't want to spend time with them, but you know what I'm saying.
That is neither here nor there.
It isn't, because when they're making an excuse, they do that. A lot of people use their kids as, my kid's sick and I was up and I can't do this, or I spend time, or I have children and I must provide, and blah, 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 blah.
You resent that?
My thing is, your kids are your kids. Here's the deal. We act like, a lot of people have kids, act like the only fucking human beings on the planet who ever had kids. Everyone has kids. And historically, everyone's had kids. So, especially when you're talking to someone who has kids, now, granted, if your kid is gravely ill, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Or that's a topic, that's something to discuss. But don't play the kids card with me, because I have kids too, and I'm traveling too, and I'm doing whatever it is you're doing. So you can't play it back. It's like,
now, I think we need an example to understand how they're using this, though. Is it like, I can't do this because of something? I can't put in the time?
I have been going out and doing these shows with Dr. Drew.
Ah.
Dr. Drew, you think, is the world's best student, but when it comes to doing shows with me, he's the laziest man on the planet. And it's always just sort of, Adam will get up there and Adam will talk, and, and I would start singing. And what I do is I walk around with a little buck slip, and I'm walking through Salt Lake, and I'm making my little notes and my little observations, whatever. And then when we get to the theater, he's just sort of sitting there, and I go, what do you want to talk about, Drew? And he'll go, I don't know. Whatever prompt me, I'll talk about anything. And I'll go, what do you have? And he'll go, I can do anything you want. And I'll go, do you have a little note? Do you have some thoughts? There's some topics, some things you want to get into in the news, I don't know, whatever you want. And I've kind of told him, I'm tired of going out there doing 86% of the talking, and then we whack the paycheck in half and go our separate ways. I want you to show up. I want you to have some shit written down. I want you to, and stop doing this thing where he steps backwards and goes, hey, tell the story. Hey, he literally says, Tell the story. Tell the story. Tell the story about you and Ray. Tell the story about this and that. Tell the story about the high school. And he steps backwards, like literally lets me have front stage and do the thing.
He downstages you.
Yeah, downstages me. Nobody downstages Mr. Carolla. So I actually started saying to him, you tell the story. You know it as good as I do. And then he does the thing where he goes, I'm boring. Nobody wants to hear from me. And I go,
on stage he does this?
Yeah, and I go, good, then fucking give me the money. Then if you're boring and no one wants to hear from you, then give me 75% of the money. If we're splitting the money, start talking.
I've got to go to one of these shows.
That's awesome. So
a lot of this.
Now we're getting to, we've done 3 shows. And I basically told him, look, I'm not going out there and doing a 45-minute stand-up routine, and then we open it up to question and answers, and then we split the money. I want you to, you're an interesting guy. There's stories. We got into stuff in one show where I finally started digging into him. It turns out when he was in med school, he had a cadaver assigned to him, for dissection and some sex, but mostly to learn from. And like 4 students, I said, what'd you name it? Like they named the guy and the whole 9 yards.
What did they name it? Do you remember?
It was just like Ted or Ed or something boring. It was a boring cadaver name. I've read the books of cadaver names.
Yeah. I know.
I would not be in your top
You know, the thing
50.
is, you always think like, oh, that would be a great cadaver name, and then it turns out everyone who had a cadaver that year named it. I hate that.
That's right.
Along those lines, did every biology high school teacher ever name? No, did they all name their skeleton in the class Bony Tony? Because I feel like Bony Tony was the universal name for the skeleton hanging in the class.
We did not. I failed.
Was in ceramics.
Pay attention.
I failed biology, and then I had to take high school science,
You couldn't
which was
remember
like
Bony Tony.
retard biology. So I never took anything past the 10th grade. So I didn't have that.
Yeah, I don't recall our skeleton being named Bony Tony, but maybe he was Bony Anthony.
It's more formal.
Right.
So I said to basically I'm saying to Drew, hey, listen, I'm tired of fucking pulling the weight. You get shit together and you get out there and have some things written down, have some stories, have some stuff queued up to talk about. Don't rely so heavily on me being fast on my feet. You step up and tell some stories and let me kick back a little and we'll split the check that way. And he said, yeah, whatever. And basically what he said. And then we showed up in Vegas. And I walked backstage and I said, you got anything? You got some stories? You ready to go? And he goes, bad night tonight. Not in any mood tonight. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, one of my kids is sick and he's in college and he's, he's out of town. And I said, what's up? And he said, it's fatigue, and he said this, and he said that. It's been going on for 6 months, and blah, 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 and I'm worried. And I said, but Drew, he's such a worrywart. Incredible, tons of anxiety. And as I told him, your anxiety is a narcissistic disorder because what it does is it turns it toward you. It's not about you. It's about your son. It's about somebody else, not about you. And he agreed with it. Like he dug it. And I said, but listen, we kind of went over it, and he's been fatigued, and he's, not been himself, and blah, 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 6 months, back and forth, sort of. But it sounded like, the guy's a strong 20-year-old kid. And I said, Drew, come on, he's fine. They'll get through some x-rays, they'll figure it out, whatever. I mean, he starts going through all the different machinations of all the different things because he's a doctor. He knows too much, And
that's so astute to realize that that's him making it his own thing.
Thank you. So I get the big bucks, or the same bucks in this case. So I said, listen, I'm sorry. I know he's going to be fine, and the best thing you can do is go out there and kick some ass. And he's like, no, I'm just not in the headspace for it, man. And I'm like, well, get in the headspace for it right now, and get out there. And so we went out. We had a show, and that's probably the first 15 minutes was me yelling about worrying too much about his son. And then I was like, all right. Get the shit together because I'm tired of dancing out there and splitting the money. And then the next show was Salt Lake City, and I walked back in the dressing room, and he gave me the. I said, "How's the boy doing? And what do you got? What do you got for tonight?" And he's like, "Same place I was last night, man. Not feeling it." And I was like, "You got to start feeling it. I need you to start feeling it,
or just fake it,
or fake it. Do me a favor and fake it." And so I was like, God damn it. So we got off the road and we're doing our podcast. We're doing it, taping it earlier today. And Drew does what he does, which is he sits there with his phone and he texts while I do the, hey, welcome to the show and our guest today. And then I interview the guest. And Drew chimes in enough, but he's monkeying around with his phone. And I said, And he drives me nuts because he literally has it. And his thing is like, I'm a doctor, I'm busy. But I'm like, hey, for this 60 minutes, you got to unbusy yourself so we can do this show. He's answering texts. He's doing the thing where he goes, I can text and I can, but we all know that.
No one can.
Think about in the days of Loveline was mostly the days before texting.
Right.
He was answering voicemails or just calling people
Getting
back.
paged, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of paging.
I'll put it to you this way. Your choice between texting and doing a syndicated podcast is sort of like driving buzzed. There's no such thing as 100% sober. Some people are a little better at putting a few away and driving, like myself. I'm what you call heavyweight. Other people are all over the road. And Drew is better than most at listening to a call, participating in an interview, and answering a text, but it's still not 100%. It's diminished.
Yeah.
You know? So he did this thing where we're starting the show, and as we're starting the show, Drew has a lot of idiosyncratic things that bug the shit out of me. That Gary, get on that microphone over there. Like he literally can't stop. He like can't stop doing this, and it's a weird.
That's why the whole studio has been child-proofed ever since you guys started
fill the
show.
carpet. It's a weird thing. Now, Gary, tell me if I'm exaggerating.
No.
He does this with his mic, right? And I say, Drew, I'm going to need you not to touch your microphone for the duration of this podcast. Literally put your hands down and do not lift it. Don't bang on it. Don't flop it. Don't use it like a fucking trucker's gear shift. Just leave it alone. And he's like, I can do that if you'd like me to just focus on that and not participate in the show. And I said, Gary, right or wrong?
That's right.
And I said, no, that's not the option. The option is don't touch the fucking mic and do the show. I'm telling you that if I focus all my efforts and energy and concentration on not touching the mic, then I'm going to have a hard time doing this show. And I said, Drew, please, let's not give yourself that easy an excuse. If your kid was pitching you that about homework or something else, you would immediately call bullshit on him. Put the mic in a comfortable position. Put your hands across them. Put on the console. Put them somewhere. Don't touch the microphone. Don't lift it. Don't physically grab it and bang on it up and down. Just don't do it. And he's like, okay. He's super passive aggressive. I can do it. I'll do it. I just won't be able to focus on the show. I will be focusing on that. I said, no, that's bullshit. Was bullshit.
This on air?
I guess it was on air.
Half and half, yeah.
Half and half. And I said, no, just fucking don't touch the mic and do the radio show. The other move he does, which drives me insane, and I'll just do it to myself so I can get the timing down, is I will go, all right, so until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo. His headphones will hit the fucking console, and they'll hit it hard as I'm saying, like, mahalo. And I'm like, wait 0.2 of a second until I've finished the show, and then drop loudly the headphones. It's like, Gary, stop me if I'm wrong. He's not alive unless he's, like, physically making noise during the podcast. And then his whole thing is like, that's you with your hypervigilance, always bugging, always complaining. No one else knows that. It's like when he sets a coffee mug down, he sets down like that. He doesn't put it on a fucking piece of paper. Or we have to start putting carpet down. I'm like, set it down gently. So we have to. All the carpet swatches are sitting there, and so we're getting ready to start the show, and we're doing what we normally do today. And I'm getting the countdown, and as I'm getting the countdown, I'm just looking at him, and he's just texting. He's just texting. And I said, Drew, we're starting the show. And he's like, yeah. And I said, I don't want to do a show where we split the money, but I do all the talking while you're catching up on your texting. And he said, I'm talking to my son's doctor. And I said, all right. And then I do what I always do, and you can enjoy the show on Thursday, which is I do what Drew calls taking my hands off the wheel. I always just lean back and go, now it's your show.
Oh, so you just stopped talking.
I stopped talking. I used to do it to him. You would have loved this one, Anderson. And then he goes, we have our guest here today. And then he's forced to host the show, and I don't say anything, which then forces him to put his phone down and engage. Now, I know I sound like a colossal prick. My feeling is you can exchange, and what's going on with your son's not dire. He's okay.
You're acting like a dick.
But I understand your concerned father. You're allowed to do this. Do it, and then put your phone down, and then let's start. I mean, unless there's breaking news, some form of emergency that I'm not aware of. Evidently, there wasn't. He was sending him a text. He's just doing it during the show. Drives me fucking nuts. What we used to do, taking the hands off the wheel, which he always blamed me for this. We used to do Love Line. Brian, back me up. And
do what I can.
And it's basically comes from, it was always favored nations. We always got paid the same, but yet I was always doing the interviews, doing the commercial, coming back, this and that and the other. So when he was writing his book on narcissism, guys have heard the story before, he'd have every single celebrity guest fill out a form.
Survey
On narcissism so he could make his book. So he's sort of moonlighting while he was doing the show. And at a certain point, the guests would just be they'd be filling out this survey during the course of the show every time. And you want to talk about multitasking. Celebrities not good at filling out surveys, asking them, do they think they're the best person on the planet, the greatest person on the planet, or the
both.
Or both. Right. And they're like sitting there reading that, and I'm trying to interview them, and they got their face buried in this paper. So I would say to Drew, really after about a year, I said, look, listen to me. No filling out of papers or questionnaires during the course of the show. They can fill it out before the show. Then they must be instructed to fill it out during the commercial breaks or after the show. But while the show is on the air, I can't have their face buried in a questionnaire when I'm trying to interview them or at least get them to participate in phone calls. He'd say, fine. And they would be sitting to your right, like we're sitting in a console smaller than this, and we'd come back from commercial, and they'd be filing away on their paperwork because they wouldn't be anything. Drew wouldn't say a word. And eventually, I just stopped talking. So what would happen is that we'd get the music.
Come back from break.
Dawson would point the finger, come back from break.
Anderson.
You just hear Anderson. Anderson.
Andrew Dawson.
Andrew Dawson. It'd just be zero. Just be dead air. Sound of a guy filling out some paperwork. And then Drew scrambling to get on the mic going, oh, okay, I get it. Fine. And I'd go, Drew, he's filling out the paperwork. And he'd go, I didn't see him. And then I'd go, Drew, he's sitting right next to you. You didn't see him because you don't want to see him because you want him to fill out the paperwork. You don't tell me you didn't see him. You have to see him. He's like literally sitting in front of you. And he'd go, I'm physically telling you I did not see the person. In which case I would always go, then give me your car keys. And he'd go, what do you mean? I go, you cannot drive a car. You can't operate a motor vehicle. If you're physically telling me you couldn't see him, then there's no way you can operate a motor vehicle. And then we'd argue for a while. But that's what I would do. I would take my hands off the wheel.
How long do you leave them off the wheel?
I would never. I would never come back. Yeah. Oh no, Drew would have to start talking. But I would do that when I left Kalis X. I didn't come in. I told Westwood One once that we needed a security guard in the parking lot because we were getting death threats, and they would never get us a security guard. And eventually, I just said to him, either I pull up and I see a security guard by this date, and if I don't get out of the car, and I don't phone in and say I'm not coming in. I just go home. That's what I do. It's the most effective way to get people to do things, but you have to kind of be good at what you do, otherwise they just let you keep driving.
Yeah. They'll let you peel out.
But I think Drew is getting more neurotic, and he's admitting it. He's getting more neurotic as the years wear on. Like he's basically saying, I'm a neurotic mess, and I'm saying, stop saying that. Yes.
He's giving himself a neurotic mess pass.
Yes.
To finish up the survey thing, what would happen is they come back from break. Anderson would be like, you're on. He wouldn't say it, but he'd give him the point. And then Adam wouldn't say anything. He was sitting back very smugly in his chair. And Drew would do the whole thing. Exactly. Oh, I see. Oh. And then the band member, whoever was in, would always be confused. Like, what's going on? Why are you guys what? And Drew would always, invariably, he would say some version of, Adam doesn't like it when the guest, blah, blah. They try to be always pinning on him.
Right.
And it was, Adam doesn't like it.
45 times he can do his survey. He just can't do it on the air. So you have to be super clear. And when we come back from break, make sure and tell the guy to put his pencil down.
Here's what confuses me. Drew seems like someone who does not enjoy the feeling of having someone angry at him, like having you angry at him. But yet
he does like it.
Oh,
Yes.
you think he likes it?
No, he needs it. That's more important than like. Like
he needs you. Wait, what do you mean?
I like peanut brittle. I don't need it.
But he needs you to be mad at him?
Yeah, well, everyone who has a whatever, codependency, fetish, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like we go, it can't feel good to have a woman in stiletto heels step on your scrotum. It's like, no, it doesn't feel good. I need it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No,
so he's jonesing for your wrath.
No, you don't know what I'm saying. Put the fucking shoes on. That's what I'm saying. No, it transcends like or feels good or doesn't feel good.
But he seems, at least the way he seemed when he talked on my show and the times I talked to him, it seems like he seems like someone who would go out of his way to avoid being in the situation where you, Adam, are mad at him.
But
I feel like he's lying to me.
But think about it. It's present. It exists. Oh, it's my worst nightmare is to have this thing that you almost encourage.
Right.
You know what I mean? On a daily basis by literally cannot not slam. Begged him, don't touch your microphone. Everyone else comes in here and does a fantastic job of not. I mean, listen. Are you
on the edge?
You Steven Tyler? Just fucking strutting around the stage? Or should we put some fucking a kerchief around it? I mean, what's going on?
Some scarves.
You Freddie Mercury? Just fucking get your hands away from the fucking stick.
Axl Rose spinning in a circle.
Fucking leave it alone. Don't touch it. Gary, stop me from wrong. He's like, literally cannot. And the answer is, I cannot not do this.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's not a hatred of you. We've joked that there should be a game. There was 8 episodes in a row of his show where he opened a soda can somewhere within the first 14 minutes.
My first 2 years of Loveline.
That sounds like a shitty game.
My first. You'd have to be in prison to really enjoy that. My first 3 years of Loveline would be nothing but this. The show would sound like this. Here, Brian, you be Dr. Drew when I cue you. All right. You know what to do with the coffee mug?
Yes.
All right. You know what to do verbally?
I know what to do. Yes, I do.
Verbally and the coffee mug? I'll wait for my cue. Hey, this is Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. He's a board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist.
Thank you very much.
Tonight, our guest. No. Drew, no.
He would say thank you
holding
very
it
much.
up.
Oh, I thought as he was taking it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's good. But you know what to do with the mug.
Slam it down.
Oh, then.
Brian,
I know we're getting back to.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, let's
buddy.
do a take two.
Let's
Here we go.
Take two.
Here we go.
Hey, I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew is a board-certified physician and addiction medicine specialist. You're listening to Loveline.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're supposed to look at my. I'm cueing you.
I'm trying to get in the method of looking over towards the door.
Allison, you think you can do a dude's voice?
Sure.
Sorry.
But I don't know that I know the whole thing as much. Taste it. I don't know that I know how it goes, though.
You just say, when I cue you. No, it's turning into too much.
No, I can do it.
You just say thank you and then put it down clumsily.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew's a board-certified physician, addiction medicine specialist. Yeah, that's how every show would start because he would have the person who got him coffee show. Oh.
I forgot to do my
If somebody had the time, we could get up and open the door and slam it shut because that would always be in the beginning too. And then I made the decree that the coffee needed to be in before the show started, and everyone went nuts on me. even Drew, it would just sit there and go, "Why? Why are you yelling at her?" Because Lauren would do it for one night, and then the next night she wouldn't do it again. And then I was always an animal, and Drew was always backing whoever the person was, and I'd always scream at him, "Stop backing that fucking person."
We don't need to get into how badly Westwood 1 was constructed. You've been over that before. But I just remembered the studio door. It was a radio studio, and the door was like the kind that had the knob and the latch, like the kind that closes with, not a deadbolt, but the thing that closes.
Right.
That's a radio door.
All right. So Drew going insane, yes?
Possibly.
Maybe turning into a woman. We'll figure it out. All right. Author, and I've been reading up on this guy, The Average American Marriage is the name of his book. written a lot of really cool stuff and has a really cool story, including it was sort of Burt Wonderstone, at least the beginning part of it. And then I went and looked at it, and there was like 5 writers. So I'm wondering if the man maybe it got.
I feel like his script may have gotten reworked,
put through the mill. Chad, is it Kultgen? Did I say that right?
I think that's it.
We'll try. Anyway, author Chad Kultgen in next. Yeah, we're back. Chad Kultgen in studio. He's an author. He's written many successful books and screenplays. The Average American Marriage. You may remember The Average American Male. And how many? That must have been a New York Times bestseller, right? You sold a lot of those, right?
I think my publicist says that, but I think in actuality, no. It's just a bestseller. You can take that to mean what you will.
I like that. Available, by the way, at on Amazon. And you know what to do. If you're going to go to Amazon, you go to AdamCarolla.com, you click through the Amazon banner, and you put a little wind in the sails of the pirate ship. Also, Burt Wonderstone screenplay, but we can talk about
kind of.
How. All right, so let's talk about The Average American Marriage.
Sure.
Is it a follow-up to The Average American Male?
Yeah, it's a sequel. I've written 4 books, and the 2 in the middle have nothing to do with Average American Male or Average American Marriage, but this one, Average American Marriage, is a sequel to the first one. So in the first one, it was kind of about a guy in his mid to late 20s who had a girlfriend with a fat ass that he didn't like that much. Mm-hmm. And then he winds up with this other girl who's a lot better, but eventually turns into the first girl. Mm-hmm. He realizes all women are basically the same, might as well bite the bullet and get married, which he does. And then this is the follow-up.
So it's a romance?
It is. It's strangely, it is a romance. But yeah, now he's married to that girl with 2 kids and living that life.
Right. And I don't know. Sorry. And this the screenplay stuff is and you've done pilots, sitcom pilots, and that kind of stuff too. And we've both been through that.
Yeah, it's very fun.
It's a retarded rock tumbler.
It is, but it pays my bills. It allows me to eat.
But what else starts like this? Hey, there's a bidding war for your script. Like, there's a bidding war for your pilot, and then somebody wins the winning bid for your pilot script, and they go, all right, now we got to change everything.
Yeah.
Why would you change everything? And then they get this. They do this one. This guy, Eddie Gordetsky, best punch-up guy in the business. The best. And then you watch the guy sit there and eat for 40 minutes, and Mike Lynch gets in more jokes than he does, but he's the assistant writer. But then when it comes around again, you got to work with the best. They'll tell you, first off, there's 85 guys that are the best punch-up guys in the business.
Right.
They never punch up anything. They just sit there.
They got there, man. They somehow navigated through that system, and they're now that guy.
And then eventually, you don't even know what your script is anymore because it's been punched up too many times, and there's been.
Did it really even need punching up, or is it just automatic punch up?
I don't think it needed.
No, it never does.
I don't think it needed punching up or that much alteration because there was a bidding war to get it in the first place.
Right.
So it's like no one ever read it and went, I got to wipe my ass with this fucking.
But then there's that long process of actually making the pilot, where especially if it's a multicam, you're sitting in a room literally every day for 3 months getting notes from the network, and you're changing that script every day on some level for just seemingly arbitrary reasons.
What creative, and there's a lot of this too, which is horrible, which is like, Nancy Tellem has a horrible, she has one note. Nancy Tellem has one note, and it's a shit note, it's a stupid note, she's an unfunny woman, and it's just fucking horrible, it's a horrible, retarded note. But then you go, just give her that note. Let's implement that note so then when she reads it. So what we end up doing is you're trying to make these people happy. Meanwhile, they're degrading. The product is getting worse and worse, and they're getting it from a 9, and they're working their way down to a 4.5 or 5. Right. But what you're doing is just give Nancy her note, just give Lloyd his note, his stupid, unfunny note, just make them happy, and you start integrating other people's stupid notes.
I think there's also kind of, at least on every pilot that I've done, there's a sentiment, as long as we get it on the air, just give them the notes they want, make what they want, and once we get it on the air, we can right the ship. We can turn it back to what we originally wanted.
Except for...
And meanwhile, you've shot yourself in the foot.
They've turned the ship into a fucking garbage barge.
Exactly.
In the process, so it doesn't get on the air.
When it doesn't get on the air, do you feel like, well, it wasn't even that good now?
It's more like I don't even know what it is, but by the time it doesn't get on the air, it's like I'm so tired of working with these assholes. I just want to go home.
You're right. You're ready to go back, lick your wounds, and start the whole process again next season.
Yeah, except for not me. Fuck those idiots. I'm not working with those fucking retards anymore. They're so fucking dumb.
I'll do it as long as they'll let me.
I cannot work with those idiots. They're
It's
all
tough,
horrible.
But, I mean, shit, man. If you get that one show that's a hit, and 5 years later you're cashing a check for $50 million,
Yeah.
it's like, to me, it's kind of worth being in the rock tumbler as long as you can.
I like being in the pirate ship.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, does it not kill your soul?
No, because I think at a certain point your soul dies really very quickly in this process. The first or second time maybe you make a pilot, you don't really have a soul.
It's like Quincy Jones said, check your soul at the door.
Yeah. And you really are detached, at least for me. I become very detached from the things I write. Initially, whatever the idea is, whatever I think is funny about it, I follow that instinct. I write the thing. If it sells, if it goes to pilot, then it's a very different kind of process. It's navigating whether or not you want to take these notes, what you want to do with these notes. Once you start casting, once you start doing all these other things that make that script into a TV show, it just becomes a completely different piece of media.
Your Burt Wonderstone turned into, I mean, how many people got their paws? Well, let me just say this
I'll
for
tell
a
you
second.
exactly everything you want to know.
I want to know everything, but
Sure.
What creative endeavor was helped by a whole bunch of mediocre people who had a say-so in it? I mean, what painting, what design, what
Piece of architecture.
what
even in
sonata,
television, even in television
anything.
or movies.
Of course.
If you look at these things, always the best TV shows and movies are the ones where they let one person or like a small group of people go off and do whatever the fuck they want, and then it comes back and wins Oscars and Emmys.
Well, because that's because you had a vision of something you wanted to do, and
That's
that's
what art
you
is.
did. That's the definition of art.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Except for the traveling Wilburys, everything was one man.
That's
but
right.
those were all visionaries.
That's right. That was a group of
That was a
very
super group.
amazing
That's
people.
right. That's the only example I can think of.
Nothing mediocre in that.
No. Yeah. So for me, I did a feature that turned out fine, and I did a TV pilot sort of based on, we want the guy who wrote this feature, but now everyone wants to get their unfunny, stinky paw prints onto my script. And then it's a lot of fucking just, we did this thing where we sent it straight to the network and we didn't send it to the producer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. And the network loved it, but the producer was shit-ripped pissed that it didn't go. And it wasn't happy. Should have been happy for us that the network said, we love every change you've implemented.
Right.
Let's move forward. But no, the producer was screaming at
Now,
us.
why did you not do that? Because you didn't.
I didn't want his retarded notes.
Oh.
Well, in the end,
Once you realize, once you show yourself as a person that's unfunny and doesn't really have any talent or anything to contribute, then I just bypass you to get to the suits, and then that pissed them off.
I mean, beyond that, in the end, the only notes that really matter are the network's notes. They're the only ones who make decisions on whether or not they're going to put this on the air, make the pilot, whatever. But you have to send it through the producers and the studio before that, generally speaking, to kind of get their way in. And sometimes, I've been in scenarios anyway, where, let's say, the studio gives you notes that are completely the opposite of what the network wants. So you then rewrite the script in one direction, and then it goes to the network, and they say, wait a minute. This is all about the son. I thought this show was about the daughter.
Right. So
and then you're like, well, fuck now.
The network is the ultimate goal, and you know what they want, but the studio and the producers are going, they got to put their stink on it. So they're going, you give them the script, and they go, here's what I want. And then they create a bunch of extra work and oftentimes lead you down the wrong path. And then when it circles around again and gets to the network's like, this is not what we were asking for.
And you know what the network wants because you have met with them from the beginning, or it's just clear?
We had a meeting, Kevin Hench and I had a meeting with the network, and they said, can you make all these changes by Christmas? Like, I'm leaving, the guy said, I'm leaving on Christmas vacation on December 16th, and that's a Monday. You literally have the weekend. Can you implement all these changes? Because I don't think you can. And we said, oh shit, yeah, we can. And we just burnt the midnight oil, made all the changes over the weekend, and then literally just hit send directly to that guy. Well, the producers went, why didn't you send it to us? And we went, well, he wanted the changes, and he said he was leaving, and we sent it straight to him. And he said, I love every change. I can't believe you did it this fast, and this is exactly what I was asking for. But the producers were still screaming at us because they don't really care what the end game. Like, forget
protocol.
Forget that the
With
network.
ego.
We bypassed. Yes, we made you what you are, useless.
Exactly.
And we showed you for what you are, useless.
Yeah.
And this is what you will become by the way, because the system is passing by all the non-writing producers who really don't do anything but hammer a check and get in everyone's fucking face and overcompensate for not having any talent and not producing and not contributing by raising their voice. They're all going by the wayside because we've cut them out.
I think even just the distribution method. I mean, networks
Sure.
are really only that. And now I think very soon you're going to see somebody like a Seth MacFarlane who just has a shitload of money say, guess what? My next Family Guy, it's not going to a network. I'm not doing it with a studio. I'm going to produce it myself. Everybody can buy every episode for 50 cents.
Right.
I'm just not going to do that anymore. And you're seeing it with Netflix, like House of Cards.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys watch that show.
No, it's all going to the way it's sort of like it's the way nature works. When something is unnecessary, whether it's your tail or an organ, it eventually it'll start sloughing off.
That's right.
Like it could hang around for several thousand years and even overstay its welcome, like a lot of these non-writing producers,
The vestigial producers.
Right, but eventually they will slough off because nature and economics will sort of find their way, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, the system is kind of trying to figure out at least how media will be created and delivered in the internet age, essentially. And it hasn't quite gotten there yet, but I think with stuff like this, your show that you're doing.
Right.
It's like, who's doing this? It's only you. And you're putting it out, and people are saying, I want that media, and they're listening to it.
Yeah. And no retarded notes from program directors.
From literally anyone.
That's right.
It's fantastic.
Except for Jesus Christ.
Right.
All right.
for Jesus
so
Christ.
with Burt Wonderstone,
Yeah.
that's your concept.
It was a spec script. So I wrote a feature spec script and sold it about 6 or 7 years ago.
It was
if
called
memory
something else,
serves.
right?
Yeah, it was called Burt Dickinson, the most powerful magician on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was essentially the exact same plot. It was about two kind of Siegfried and Roy Vegas magicians who are threatened by this kind of like David Blaine, darker kind of new street magician who's like taking away their mystique in Vegas. And so they have to update their act and they have a falling out. I mean, it's basically the exact same plot. The things that were changed were an orphanage was changed to a retirement home, but it served pretty much the exact same dramatic function. And all the last names of the characters were changed. And almost all the dialogue, I think, like many of the jokes, it was kind of, the tone was far different. Mine was like very close to an R, kind of darker, weirder movie, and this was, it was changed to a very more middle of the road. All audiences have some fun with this thing.
Again, when they have to then bring in 4 writers, I think.
4 writers. There were, I think, on this 18 different writing entities.
Well, at least credited.
Right. 4 credited writers, yeah.
Does it ever help the process? Like Jimmy and I wrote a script, and they had to hand it off to one of Sandler's guys to punch it up. And after giving him a couple $100,000 and him punching it up, we had to just go back and remove all the shit he did to fuck up our script.
Yeah.
Why, by the way, should he be good with our script? He has no idea what our script is, and he's not even motivated to tell this story.
Right.
It's so bizarre to me, especially in comedy. Some kind of things like action movies and stuff, rewrites are kind of like, at least in my head, like I kind of get that. I myself am against rewrites. I don't think I would ever do one. Obviously, I've been through some bad experiences, but just in general, like to me, it's far more interesting and fun to just write my own shit.
Well,
I don't want to dig through somebody else's thing,
Also, I tell everybody, here's when you're at your purest and at your best, because otherwise, eventually, it's like when you repeat a word over and over again, it loses its meaning. And when you start trying to top jokes, but you can't top them, you just start moving laterally, and then no one can remember if they like the first one better, but you've heard it too many times.
Yeah,
it's not fresh
there's definitely
anymore.
diminishing returns with humor, which is something so elusive.
But your first impulse is your best. I tell people all the time, you want to pick out wallpaper, have somebody put on 5 swatches, take pins, take thumbnail pins and thumbtacks and put them on the wall, on the bare wall, and don't show you in advance. You turn your back and you turn around and you have 5 seconds to point at one. That will be you at your purest, and that will be the wallpaper you like the best. If you do that thing where you go, I want to live with these 5 swatches for a few days and really stare at them and hold up sweaters next to them and hold up, love seat sofas next to them.
I would turn that into a 2-month process.
Right, and then eventually
of asking everyone
you'd
and then
start
weighing
swimming.
it.
You'd get way too much input. No, this is you. This is your wall. This is you at your purest. Pick it.
I want to start making all my decisions that way.
Should have done that with your husband or fiance.
How do you know I didn't?
I could have. I need 5 Jews. All right.
Anyway.
So, and big pins this time. But your first jokes are your purest jokes. Like your first impulse is your first impulse. That's your best. That's you at your best.
Yeah, I mean, I think not only that in comedy, it's a very weird thing. Like in TV comedy, you have a big writer's room, and there's kind of a tone in that room, and there's a tone for the show, and all the writers are kind of part of that. So having multiple people write one script or whatever isn't necessarily as bad in TV. But in movies, it's almost never that. It's like, in this case specifically, I sell a script which is completely my comedic tone.
Right.
And it gets passed around to different individual entities who are never working together. And so there are these weird tonal shifts and jokes in the movie that just look stitched together. And it doesn't have any kind of coherent comedic effect.
Why would it work if it was a painting you were making and then you're passing it around for other artists to kind of get their brushes on? Would it be? Of course it'd be a disaster.
But
yes,
even in
Brian.
TV shows, just when the writers change, you can often feel that. You can feel later in the seasons when it's like, whoever started this, it's something different now.
Right, but what Bert is saying, maybe that's just the Mangria talking, is at least there's an edict, like, you're writing the family, aforementioned Family Guy, and you're all at least kind of on that, literally that same page tonally.
Sure.
This is completely from scratch. This is your idea.
Right.
It's impossible to hand it to other people and have them do it, unless they're very close to you, know your sensibility very well, and can partner with you. Yes, Brent.
Did you see the movie when it came out?
Yeah, I've seen it like 3 or 4 times at this point.
What was that experience like the first time?
The first
you must have
time was
recognized
at,
some of your jokes, but then
I only
your
recognized
stuff,
one of my jokes.
I mean,
but
your
I mean,
stuff. Your things
yeah, I
you
mean,
wrote.
obviously the story is exactly the same story. Many of the set pieces are exactly the same and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was weird. I mean, the first time I saw it was in a screening room with, I think there were like 4 other people, just kind of a friends and family thing, and there were only 4 of us. Only 4 friends and family wanted to see this. But yeah, it was weird. This is the first movie I've ever had produced. And when you get that news that Jim Carrey and Steve Carell are going to be in this movie you wrote, you're like, holy fucking shit, this is going to be huge. And then all this bad stuff starts happening. There's all these rewrites. It goes to WGA arbitration. You get completely fucked. The movie opens to $10 million, which I think is at least one of the worst Steve Carell openings in the history of his career.
Right.
And then it just becomes this thing that you hope dies and never rears its head again. And it should be this amazing experience that's like, this is why I fucking even started writing movies, was to have guys like this in something I wrote. And instead it becomes this horrible nightmare.
Yeah,
But congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
This isn't. No, I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not kissing ass, but I will say.
Why start now?
No, when I started seeing the billboards and I started hearing about the sort of the premise, I sort of went, oh, that's an interesting premise.
Right.
And then when the reviews started coming in, I was like, oh, I guess they fucked up their interesting premise. So I thought the premise was a nice platform to build off of. I thought that's a fun premise for a comedy. And then they sort of, I guess they fucked it up along the way, or they didn't execute the said premise. And so you are the premise guy.
That's right. I'm the premise guy. Anybody out there need premises?
I got a couple
Just
myself.
tweet at me.
All right, Allison Rosen, let's do a little news, baby girl.
The news with Allison Rosen.
She'll read some news from her iPad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's Allison. And when it's time to wrap it up, she'll sign it off with zip it cunt. It's Allison.
CBS says they do not regret their decision to ban replays of Kevin Ware's injury.
Oh, I forgot to talk about that.
Oh,
I knew it was
how
going to happen.
convenient.
I knew it was going to happen.
Well, you knew what was going to happen.
Well, I knew after I bitterly protested yesterday.
Oh, that happened to me too. Are we talking about the same thing where someone sent it to you and you clicked on it by mistake? Thanks, motherfucker.
Yeah. But now I'm sure ours were personalized differently.
Yeah, mine said cute alert.
Mine said check out my Mura, which is a
we
lamb.
talked about on the show. You're familiar
my mom
with it,
sent
right?
me the video clip, and it said, look at this guy's fucking leg. That was
That
my
was-
subject.
at least
That is
that's
fine.
honest. At least that's honest.
fine. That's
Was
fine.
it the same person, I wonder, who did it to us?
I don't know, but
I got it too. I'm gonna look and see what mine said.
I made the announcement.
Scalp polish here.
I don't want to see a man getting compound fracture. I
It's
just
terrible.
don't. I don't.
Fuck,
I tried
it's
to take
so
a
bad.
fucking nap today. My teeth and my shins were hurting
Yeah.
while I was trying to nap. So I was like, I don't want to see it. And I knew the more I said I didn't want to see it, someone would tweet me a picture, and I knew it would be under check out these tits or something like that. This was check out my Lamborghini Miura, which is the car you've seen parked there. Of course, how can you not? Like, what if you don't? You know what? Fondelier. I need a guy. I got a guy who breaks in my shoes now. I got a guy who walks my dog, but I combine the two because I'm downsizing.
That makes sense.
It's
a good plan.
Yeah.
Let him break in my Italian. The Bruno Mollies can be broken in while they're walking Molly. You know what I'm saying?
You need a link clicker.
I need a link clicker for Twitter because people are showing me some weird stuff that I cannot unsee.
Right.
And not since the late, great Bob Schimmel showed me the two girls in a cup. Have I been this moved in a negative way?
I know.
It is really, really terrible.
It's terrible.
There was one injury. I don't know if your guys are into baseball. I think it was in the mid-'90s. Moises Alou was just rounding first base, planted his leg just to
On
go
the
back to
Astros.
the
Don't
bag.
put anything on the screen.
Nothing.
And the bone comes out of his calf. Into the,
Put
Jesus.
puppies up there.
Yeah.
So gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
All
terrible.
right. So
Well, I've talked
you're said.
Cute alert. And here's the thing. I don't click.
Was it cute?
No, but I like that cute alert got you. You're like, oh shit, I gotta check that out.
Well, okay, people send me cute stuff often because I enjoy it. But here's the thing. I don't click 100% of them like, oh, you got to check out. Because oftentimes it'll be the same ducklings in a bathroom sink picture.
Sure.
Right.
You know, I get that one a lot. Or like, look, a little pig wearing boots.
Right. All right.
Which is super cute. But I made the mistake of clicking this one.
Well, you what people do is they send me. I get the, dig this ace, and it's somebody, and they have the bottle like Mangria planted in the snow, and them and their wife are, out in Vermont. They're holding the glass up, and it's like I want to say thanks, cool, appreciate it. Now you people will ruin me.
Yeah.
I'll become bitter and not answer, and I'll be too scared to look at any of this stuff.
I'll look at everything. I
I
don't
think.
care. I like seeing
have
that
you
shit.
seen the Vern Troyer sex tape? Because that
No.
was my Two Girls, One Cup. I accidentally walked into a room where they were playing it, and now I can't unsee that. Anyway, back to the news though. CBS says so. CBS has a policy. They're not going to replay it. They did 2 quick replays on Sunday from a wide enough distance for viewers to see the leg land awkwardly, but not any blood or bone, and it hasn't been shown since on CBS.
Right. Teeth hurting.
But I guess it's weird to me, though, that they have to say we don't regret it. Like, where's the pushback coming from? I guess it's just that online there have been so many views of it that it's like that's something that people want to see.
But there's the internet. I mean, can't they just go on the
well,
internet?
Yeah, they can.
No, they can. All right.
You want to move on?
Yeah,
to something happier?
That's just
like suicide?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know how people are wired. I'm hoping that your pain level for your fellow citizen of this planet is good. I mean, it's healthy. Like if you're watching somebody go through an excruciating experience and feeling nothing, then there's going to be a body count at some point. Yeah, you're millennial. No, I just mean what. Here's the thing: we have basically a spectrum of human beings of. I could never do anything that would harm another human being or cause any pain to them or their family. And then we have the I love killing showgirls and I love setting bums on fire. Like, it's just, and then there's everything in between. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of, whenever you see those Friday night, 48 hours or something, it's like the husband hired a guy for $4,300 to kill his wife. Like, there's a lot. What was he doing before that? Was he just out looking for other gigs, and someone said, "I'll give you almost $5,000 to kill my wife." And you're like, I mean, where's you negotiate?
What was the opening bid? 4,000.
Exactly. Yeah, 4,300 is definitely the end of a negotiation.
I'll give you 50. I'll give you $3,500 to snuff my 28-year-old pregnant wife out. I don't kill pregnant women for a penny under $5,000.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know how this works, but evidently there's an alarming number of people who, for what you consider a very moderate amount, would just go kill a stranger.
Yeah, that's pretty horrifying.
The whole Ray Caruth thing, which is the most insane thing in the planet, the Panthers wideout who had his pregnant gal pal, sort of baby mom, or baby-to-be mama, killed, just sort of did a thing where he found a guy paid him $5,000, and the guy was kind of like, all right, so how do we work this? Oh, we go out on a road at night. I'll stop the car. She'll be following me. She'll stop the car. Then you pull up behind her and kind of box her in, and then you just go ahead and open a clip. Just open up. Just use a 9mm into this pregnant woman, and then you kill her, and then we'll head off.
Do you have more respect?
Did I say Ray Caruth? What'd I say?
You just said Panthers player. I was just trying to help.
Did I say the word Ray Caruth?
Sorry,
Yes.
my headphones are off.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. You confused me, Gary.
My mistake. Sorry.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you have more respect for the person who kills their spouse with their own hands or hires someone?
Own hands. I'm a kind of guy who likes wearing a collar but rolling up his sleeves. You
OJ
know what I mean?
style.
Yeah. Go OJ.
Right.
Or don't go at all.
Well, speaking of ridiculous sums of money, ridiculously small sums
Hold
of
on a
money.
second.
Okay.
What was I complaining about? Oh, yeah. People and what they'll do.
Yeah.
I think that people who enjoy or at least have a sort of morbid curiosity about other people and their pain are more easily enticed to cause pain. It's a kind of a gold.
Me. It strikes me as sort of sociopathic.
It's a
Right.
It's a golden
Those
rule.
are the creepiest fuckers to me.
Yeah.
But there's a material golden rule, which is, well, how would you like it if somebody stole your wallet or
Right.
your purse or your briefcase or your cell phone? There's that, and then there's a physical golden rule, which is, how would you like it if your tibia popped through the top of your tennis shoe? You know what I mean?
Wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So you wouldn't like it but there's a physical, like, how would you like it if you were killed?
Yeah.
Probably not. And then, thus, you would not like to kill somebody else. So there's a weird, like, you have to be kind of cool with other people in order to commit it yourself, I'm assuming, anyway.
To me, the effort of murder just seems to be
calorie
more
burner.
than it's ever worth.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't know.
How far into the maybe I'll murder someone thought train have you gone?
0 steps
Okay.
taken. I don't know. It's never crossed my mind.
Yeah. I don't
Later. I don't know.
I don't think about it much
After
either.
a few more years in network TV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, Adam, and please take this. Well, take it how you want, but your dislike of viscera or of seeing anyone hurt. I don't know that most people would say, oh yeah, Adam Carolla, he's an empath.
Empathic, very empathic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yet, do you think that's what that is?
I have I was talking on stage with Dr. Drew about this the other night in Salt Lake City, which is I was taught. I wasn't taught anything growing up, but I was the only thing I was taught was, what about the other guy? What about the other guy? What would they say? How would they feel? How would they feel? So I calibrated myself, because people say to me, what happens when you have these friends you don't talk to ever again, or this person or this relationship or this whatever, and you never talk to them again, or things go bad and what have you? And I said, listen, I'll pass this along to you people. Calibrate yourself to be fair. To be fair, in order to calibrate yourself, you have to remove yourself from the equation. You have to pull yourself and your own feelings and your own wishes and desires to either make more money or do whatever. Get it out of the equation and go, what is fair? Meaning, I will cut this sandwich in half and I will let you pick which piece you choose to eat. That's what we'll do. Or you can cut it and I'll pick it. But either way, I'm going to try to remove me and how hungry I am from this equation and keep it fair. So what I did in life is I chose to calibrate myself so that if I ever say, I really like this person and I really want to be in business with this person, or I want to marry this person, or I want to start a family with this person, or I want to hug this person, that'll be good. I'll be hugging the right person. Or I never want to talk to this person again. I'll be right in both instances because I'm calibrated. And not only am I calibrated, I said, calibrate yourself to even, and then do one click back for the other person. Meaning, now I know I'm safe.
Right.
I've calibrated this to be fair to you, and then I've gone one click back toward your direction against my direction, and now I know that all decisions I make, and by the way, this doesn't mean that every single thing you think of or whatever, there's stuff that gets past you, there's stuff you ignore on occasion and you're not aware of or whatever you, but when you make decisions that are important, that you are correctly calibrated, almost like anything, a radar gun, a breathalyzer, like a ruler, anything that has calibrated to get a correct reading on it. Once you know your reading is correct and then clicked back one notch for fairness for the other person, you're free to do anything you want. And I have a thing where I feel other people. Like I understand what they're thinking, and I try to be empathic. I'm not an emotional person. I'm not a hugger, and I'm not a kisser, but I am think about what you're asking the person to do or how they would feel if the shoe was on the other foot, so to speak. And thus, when the shoe is through, when the bone is through the shoe
Right.
and through the foot, I feel it in my leg.
Right.
And I hate it.
+1.
+1.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so a mom was arrested. This is going back to the sums of money. A mom was arrested for trying to sell her kids on Facebook.
Quickly, let me say this.
Okay.
Once you're calibrated and you're calibrated correctly, you're now free to tell people to fuck off
Right.
all the time. It's not just, now you're Mr. Nice Guy. No,
Now you're an asshole.
whatever you are, you're fair. And thus, when I was getting screamed at by the producer for sending it straight to the network who loved the script, I was free to tell that guy to fuck off because they loved the script and we busted our ass working all weekend to implement every note they wanted.
See, I think I just need, or maybe everyone who's more like me, needs to just trust their own calibration if they're properly calibrated. Because I'm someone who every wind comes by and I have to recalibrate.
Calibrate yourself and then trust it. But remember, when you're calibrating yourself, you have to remove yourself from the calibration process. Or we're sitting at the airport in Vegas and the drunken guy wants to know what percentage me and Drew are assholes. What percentage of the time we're assholes, and I tell him to fuck off. I'm fine. I'm
100%.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He brought him upon himself.
Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. So, Misty Van Horn, Oklahoma.
There has never been a less hot chick who sounded hotter than Misty Van Horn.
It's a porn name.
That
Yeah.
It
Yes.
really is.
It's too porny to be a porn name.
Yeah.
It's too on the nose to be
It
a porn
is.
name. Too on the
So she was
vagine.
trying to sell her 2-year-old and her 10-month-old on Facebook.
For how much?
Yeah.
The
what are we talking
toddler,
about?
the toddler was going for $1,000, but both of them were $4,000.
Oh, it's a very good deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Well, I mean, what would the 2-year-old have gone for on its own? Because obviously there's some kind of bargain if you bundle.
It was only a package deal? The 2-year-old was never...
No. Yeah, no, she never. The 2-year-old was not sold separately.
Well, I would say she looks like a meth head, except for the 86 pounds. She's overweight.
She's a Sooner fan.
Yep.
Sure, the
Go
University
Sooners.
of Oklahoma is thrilled to have their sweater so prominently displayed.
I'm just saying, shouldn't kids go for more? Seems like really low.
Considering they're our future, and as I always say, robots are our future, but for
I
now,
agree.
kids are our future. You'd think they go for more, but I don't think her kids would go for more.
That's
You're
right.
right. You got to consider.
Yeah, like
The-
if you're
the
doing
gene
one of those
pool.
things where people are donating eggs, except for they're selling them for $10,000 an egg. I don't know why I know we call it donation, so
Yeah.
it makes it easier to live with the process of harvesting someone else's egg
Yeah.
to use for your
It's
kid.
really
But
selling.
Yeah.
it's the definition of selling. It is, I'm going to stimulate this thing. You're going to be able to harvest some eggs, and I will do it for the price of $10,000.
Yeah.
That is the you can go look up donation. I don't think there's an exchange of currency involved with donation, but we have that. Her eggs would go for less than the eggs at a Denny's would go for. So
Right.
this kid's probably, and by the way, she could have married someone who's like a Harvard faculty member, so maybe they upped it a little bit, but I'm guessing not.
Calibrated to 0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remove
that's right.
yourself from the situation.
That's right.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
Also,
but when
and-
they do this, do they mean it? Or are they just kind of going, I'm a fucking junkie and I need some help?
Yeah, was she serious about this, or was it some kind of joke thing she put on Facebook? Like, I'm
no,
selling
I
my
think,
kids.
I mean, she was arrested. I think she was serious. The woman that
Jesus
she
Christ.
was trying to sell her kids to contacted the police.
Oh, for
she
some
was-
reason in my head, I just thought it was an open Facebook post like, hey,
Oh,
everybody,
like a status
I got 2
update?
kids for sale. Anybody? But
Mm-hmm.
no, I see what you're saying now. She was just communicating with a potential buyer through Facebook.
Yeah, although I don't know if she had initially done some kind of status update about it.
I put my daughter on eBay, but the reserve wasn't met. So that doesn't make me a bad guy, does it?
Oh. Sorry. This is important.
Go ahead, Horseshack.
She wanted the money to bail her boyfriend out of jail.
Oh,
Okay.
I know. So that's bad sperm and egg.
So, well, no,
Definitely
now
not a Jew.
Yeah.
she was being altruistic.
Now, I don't know if this is her mugshot. Mugshots have other things on them, right? But it's got me thinking, have you guys ever had a mugshot? And why wouldn't you smile? I mean, no matter what's going on, because wouldn't that just be the impulse when someone's taking a photo?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're as photogenic as me, I would.
I don't know if they give you the proper, say cheese or whiskey.
They do.
They do.
I myself have never had a mugshot, but one of my best friends of all time, an old childhood friend, I'm from Texas, as is he. He got arrested for a DUI when he was probably, I'm guessing, 21, 22. And now there's a thing on the internet where you can just search public records and you can see his mugshot, which is the funniest fucking picture I have ever seen in my life.
Well, now we need to know his name.
Giant smile. I'll tell you off the air. I'm not going to put his shit out on, public, but giant smile, holding his little card. It's hilarious.
Oh,
So,
yeah, because the majority of them are done when the people are drunk.
Yeah, exactly. He
Right.
certainly looks drunk in it. But yeah, this is not a good mugshot. She looks
Not
unenthused.
a flattering mugshot. But again, I don't feel like they light these things correctly. I would insist on a fan.
That's the lighting,
Yes.
not the
Yes,
10
I would
fucking
want a
bucks on the donut
stylist.
sheet.
I want to know who's shooting it.
You want to see more of her face?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I would do that Charlie's Angels beginning thing with Jacqueline Smith where I turned around and did the hat sideways and did the thing. Like, I want to turn into my mugshot. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right, for movement, so you don't get the dead eye. Totally.
All right.
Okay, so the TV doctor on France's version of Survivor. Survivor is in a whole bunch of different countries.
Right.
One of them being France. And the doctor on the show who oversees the contestants and is also on air, who checks them out.
On air in the French version.
But he's not a contestant.
No,
No.
he's not.
Okay.
But he
No.
committed suicide after a contestant died.
Wow.
On his watch?
Yes.
At his hand. Malpractice style. Is that
yes.
what you're saying?
He, a
Oh, shit.
I bet he fell.
contestant.
I bet he fell in love with her.
I think it was a guy.
Yeah, but still.
Whatever.
Well, look at this dude.
Oh.
Could have fallen in love with him.
He is such a TV doctor, a French TV doctor.
Yeah. Well,
Wait, it was a guy? You're saying? I'm going closeted gay on this one.
All right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a contestant on
See
Survivor.
if this guy's gay or straight.
A man's dead.
We'll figure it out.
2 men are dead.
That's right.
That's a good
I
point.
got 2 bodies.
Gerald Babin, or as I imagine, Gerald Babin. He died on the first day of the show's filming because he said to the doctor that he had cramps, and the doctor said, it's no big deal.
You're a man.
Right.
Yeah, and then he later died of a heart attack.
Jesus Christ. On day 1.
All right. And then the doctor killed himself.
Yes, because he left a note. Here's part of it.
Oh, I'm guessing he wasn't in love with the elderly overweight guy who had the heart attack.
Well, if so, he didn't put it in any sort of PS in his note.
Yeah, but still.
Oh, well, there's.
Well, wait a
this
minute.
changes everything. Maybe
Now,
he was in love with
hold
it.
on.
Yeah.
We just found
We're getting a much better picture here.
it was my fault for ever questioning myself.
You mean wondering if he was straight?
I just wondering if I was wrong.
Don't blame yourself.
Now,
buddy.
well, when you say a guy has a heart attack and he's having cramps, you picture sort of middle-aged guy who's
Yeah.
not taking care of himself, who's got an extra gut on him, and he's straining himself too much, and now he has a heart attack. I'm looking at a beautiful gay man,
Right.
which I'm assuming like the third member of Milli Vanilli on the right of the screen.
Vanilli.
Yeah. And on the left, I'm looking at a slightly gayer picture of the same doctor. So now things are at least let everyone be gay.
I agree.
The guy on the right's gay. Well, first off, let me say this, fellas, with all the fucking eyeliner and all the plucking and all the primping and all the earrings, we can't tell if you're gay anymore. We don't know who's gay because we're all sucking cock now. It's I mean, every guy who's not a merchant marine and doesn't have a shitty beard is officially gay. Like it used to be, oh, that guy's got an earring in his right ear, so
I
he's
remember
gay,
that
and then
shit.
that guy's got an
Oh,
earring in his left ear, so he's bi-curious and Greco-active. But
And he has this color.
now it's like Harrison Ford has an earring. You know,
Right.
is he gay? Like, what's going on? And now there's a bunch of guys with 2 earrings.
That's right.
If you had, when I was growing up, if you had 2 earrings, you were gay. It was
Right.
super easy math to do. And if you were that primped, like you dyed your hair, you frosted your tips, you had 2 earrings, you're wearing the big sunglasses, Gucci sunglasses or something, then you were gay.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I remember, and I don't know if it was just because I was a kid or the public wasn't the way it is now, or maybe I was latently homosexual, but I remember seeing like Wham come on MTV and just as a kid being like, huh, those guys are just musicians. Like, that's all I thought. They're clearly not gay. They're wearing short shorts and, like, neon pink sweatshirts with a V cut in the neck and shit. And I'm just, like, as a kid going, like, oh, they're just weird.
It also was the fashion of the time a little bit, though.
No, but let me shit on your
80s.
point, Nelson Rosen.
Okay.
And this isn't going to, this is pterodactyl shit, and you're driving a smart car. This is going to take.
I feel like I need to pull over.
Yeah, no, pull over because
Okay.
you're not going to be able to see.
Maybe should I get out of the car and just let you shit on the car?
No, do
Or
not
I
get out of
stay
the car.
Stay in the car.
Uh-oh.
All right, but this is going to engulf the whole car. The
Feel like I'm
village,
about to die.
the village people, because
Oh.
that was not a like dress of the time because there was all different dresses,
Right.
And we didn't. We were like, this dude's supposed to pull down tail, man.
Yeah.
That fucking guy with the handlebar mustache and the chaps and the leather vest with no shirt. I mean, those guys on tour.
Must dig that so
fucking
much.
dig that. Chicks are all dancing. They're doing the YMCA dance. I mean,
Yep.
this fucking guy's probably hitting everything that's not nailed down on the road, man.
He sings about being a macho man.
Oh, in the
Going to
Navy.
YMCA and working out all the time.
Navy. He's fucking working
He's
out.
built.
This fucking guy's tapping everything, man. And we didn't even know what gay was. Like,
I know.
and even, I mean, I was, 10 or 11, but everyone's older brother wasn't like, hey, dude, are you nuts? Those guys are gay. They were like, fuck, I'd love to be the 6 village person. Let's go out and bang groupies, man. So
That's
we
how I
just,
remember it, too.
with no familiarity. And people think, like, they know, the village people, like, you had the cop and you had the construction worker. One guy was just a leather homo. That's all
that's
he
right.
was.
That's
That
right.
was his outfit. Was I suck cock outfit? That was
is
his
right.
outfit. It's like handlebar mustache, chaps,
Chaps, a little leather vest.
weird, like on the waterfront biker cap, and or wild ones.
He was a half-dressed biker.
Yeah.
But he was gay. Like he was wearing a gay out. He was wearing an outfit of a gay superhero.
Yeah.
Cock jug man. Like he was wearing it was like he was just dressed as a gay guy. It's not like, well, that guy's
Wasn't
a
a gay
funeral
Eskimo.
director. It was just gay.
And that begs the question, when they were forming the village people, there had to be some kind of a meeting where they all assigned, I'll be the construction worker, I'll be the Indian chief, and they just ran out of shit, probably.
Right.
And they were like, why don't you just wear what you wear on the weekends?
Right.
And that was
right.
it. That
was
had
it.
to be that guy.
That was him. And there's nothing gay. But now I got to know, because now I got to know about the contestant. I got to know about the other guy. I don't know why. At least I have to be right on my gay thing.
Well,
I think it's clear. I think
yeah.
that picture.
Well, so here's part of his note. It doesn't indicate anything gay or straight, but these last few days my name has been smeared in the media. Unjust accusations and assumptions were uttered against me. Having to rebuild this destroyed reputation seems unbearable to me, so this is my only possible choice.
What were the unjust accusations? That he was gay?
That he killed.
That hit
Obviously.
his medical reputation.
Obviously, yeah.
And then he said that in his suicide note that his last wish was to be cremated in Cambodia so that his body never had to return to France. So
Wow.
dramatic.
There are many other countries.
Wow.
Oh, Cambodia is
It's
where
where
Survivor
they're,
was.
yeah,
I get
where
it
they're
now.
filming this.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah.
I was under the
All right.
impression he was like, fly me to Cambodia, cremate me there.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. This is not. This is sad, obviously. I don't know if we can find it. Now, can you find out if the guy was married, if he left a wife and kids behind? Shouldn't we? I feel like we could find out.
His name
whether-
is Dr. Terry, but it's Thierry Costa. Costa.
All right. Should we bring this home, Allison Rosen?
That's the news. I'm Allison Rosen. Zip it, cunts.
Nobody downstages Mr. Carolla.
That was the news with Allison Rosen.
The contestant had a wife. That's this metrosexual thing that's confusing the
Yeah.
shit out of me now.
Yeah, that contestant certainly did not look straight.
No,
photo.
but he had a wife.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Right. That's
Yeah,
true.
but I'm assuming if you're married and you're young.
I mean, it would suggest something.
Yeah,
but-
all right. We'll try to figure it out. We'll get back to you on this. The Average American Marriage. It is available right now on Amazon. You know what to do. Click through the website. Also, we're going to be doing a live show tonight. Breckenmeyer is going to be in studio, and when I say in studio, I mean at Amalfi, my restaurant. We'll do that tonight. Come live. I'm guessing at 7 p.m. is when the show starts, but
Yes.
possibly I'm wrong about that. Also, Phoenix, we are at Stand Up Live, and this is a good time. Teresa Strasser's coming out. Frank Caliendo's coming out. John Holmberg's coming out. Dominic Moynihan's coming out. That is Friday and Saturday. That'll be all over the weekend, and we're serving Mangria, white and red, in a big way, and I think you can take home some bottles, too, so they'll pour it up.
You have to pay for them?
It might be some nominal
Swipe
one-time
'em.
fee. Yeah. Chad, you enjoying your Mangria?
Yeah, I absolutely am. It's very good. Very tasty.
Yeah, so enjoy that and come out and say hi to us. And again, see how the fudge is packed live at Phoenix at Stand Up Live all weekend. And me and Drew, Redondo Beach, watch him standing motionless while I do all the talking, and then we split the check after the show. That is Saturday, April 13th. So until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Chad Kultgen, Allison Rosen, and Bald Brian saying mahalo. Hey, kiddies, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and catch any podcasts you might have missed at youtube.com/Adam Carolla. That's youtube.com/me.